Hi, I'm Miss Katerina T, and welcome back to my channel. So happy to have you here. Today, I want to run through a few things I've been doing that make my life feel like it's passing a little slower in a good way. Also, I'm in the forest. These things are very random, but the forest is relevant because that is my first random thing I've been doing, paying attention to trees. My life has been enriched for knowing the different kinds of trees that are on my walk to the park. I live in a very standard suburb, okay? I don't live here. This is a stock photo. That's natural spring water. Forest. So every person needs an old person nature hobby. For a lot of people, this is birds. If you are an indoors kid like me and an indoors person like me, nature can seem like something that is very far away. Like you drive to nature, right? And it can make you feel very removed from your local area. Picking up an old person nature hobby will get you in tune with your local area and mentally, I don't know, I'm not a psychiatrist nor guru spiritual person. However, I think feeling like you are a part of the space around you is a very enriching thing. It has enriched my life. Okay, moving on. Number two on my random list of things that make me feel like my life isn't running away from me at 100 miles an hour. Pay attention to the moon. And I'm being so serious. Just hear me out, okay? So when we're talking about time feeling like it's flying by, weeks flying by, months potentially even flying by, one day blurring into the next, there is a very potent visual cue that exists in the sky that if you pay attention to it, aka just look at it every day, your brain will like chunk your life into smaller pieces. I don't like monthly planning. 4 weeks is too much and too little time at the same time. But you know what I like better than monthly planning? Bi-weekly planning. You know what happens every 2 weeks? A new moon or a full moon. Another reason why time might be flying by for you is if you keep setting new goals and never pause to appreciate the ones that you've already accomplished. So, let me give you a little example. I used to be terrified of driving. I didn't even get my learner's permit until I was 18. I I used to cry because I was so scared to go on the highways. Pretty much every time I drive, I take a second to appreciate that I can drive now. I can drive on the highway comfortably. I got my car this week. I have a car. I have a car, guys. This is so okay. That's not the point. Sometimes it's important. You just gotta stop and pay attention to where you are now, where you were, how cool your past self would think your current self is. Definitely builds a sense of momentum within you and makes your life feel like you're more in the present. Number three, I really should have pulled up this quote before I started filming this, but we're just going to roll with it now. There is a radio show program called Cabin Pressure, and there is a random scene from that show that permanently altered my brain chemistry when I listened to it way back when. One of the characters, who's like the stereotypically dumb character, says, "Well, I'm happy all the time." And they're like, "How can you be happy all the time? No one's happy all the time." And he's like, "Well, yeah." It's like, "Well, how, when?" This is not how the scene goes, guys. I'm just paraphrasing. I think the examples he gave was like when you walk into like a perfectly temperatured shower and you just go, "Oh," right? The first bite of your favorite dinner. Right? The first bite into an apple. What else? Oh, for me, when I'm showered and I just go into sheets. Ooh, clean sheets. In that moment, like if I'm watching something on my phone or listening to something before I'm about to do one of these things that I know is gonna mwah, I will turn it off. Like I take those moments very seriously and I will enjoy them to the fullest. This kind of ties back into what I was saying about nature not being something that's out there, it's something that's around you, right? Happy moments are not something that you like look forward to when you go on vacation or get married or something. It's There's little bits of it all day, every day. And if you start intentionally pausing and paying attention to them, relishing in them as they're happening, that to me has been a better gratitude. I put in heavy quotation marks practice than actually saying, I'm grateful for this, because you're appreciating it as it's happening. A final random thing I've started doing to make time feel like it's going a bit slower is paying attention to my body. When you are very in your head, when you've, let's say, been on the internet a bunch, when you've been scrolling or reading, or even when you're really deep in a creative project and you kind of, you're so in your head, you're kind of drifting away from your body in a sense. The thing is, when you're up in the clouds doing that, time tends to really fly by, which can be a good thing. We all love getting locked into flow state when you're working on something fun. That's great. I'm not saying don't do that. What the weird small thing actually is paying attention to the sensations in your body. Oh, this sounds weird as I'm saying it. How am I trying to explain this? I don't want to assume you don't know this, but I didn't know this, so I'm going to say it. Did you know that when you sit quietly and really pay attention, you can feel your heartbeat at any pulse point in your body? Did you know that? I didn't know that. Or like you can kind of feel like buzzing in your fingertips if you really focus on it. I don't know what that is. Energy? Ooh. That's crazy that my camera just cut out as I did that. How has this made my life better? You may wonder. Well, the effect has basically been I feel much more grounded in my physical flesh bag. I'm being serious again. Starting to pay attention to that more is also helping me be more in touch with my body's cues, so to speak. Like, hey, we're hungry, or hey, you haven't stretched in 4 hours, or even like, hey, I feel anxious right now. That's why I feel like crap. Yeah, so my frontal lobe's been developing, is the thesis of this, and I kind of have a sense of general wellness and hope and control over my life. My conscience is relatively clear. I don't quite know what's happening. I think it might have been because I did the artist's way. If I'm gonna be completely honest. Without really intending to, I have implemented a practice, I guess you could say, in my life of throughout my day returning my attention and focus back to the present moment, um in appreciation, I guess you could say, or like in that, yeah, I guess you could say that. Dang, well, okay, that is what I'm doing. I guess I am doing that. Okay, yeah. When you start paying attention to the present, you notice in real time how it's changing, and that gives time a more gradual procedural sort of progression, as opposed to being stuck in the brain clouds for like a week and then being like, what the hell? I'm gonna have to make another video about this, I think, because I'm realizing things as I'm talking. Thank you for watching my video on 5 random things I do to make time feel like it's moving slower. It seems like we've both learned something today. Maybe you already knew that. I don't know. I wish all of you the very best. And as a final message, if you are under the age of 23, 24 technically, hang in there. Guys, it actually gets easier. Thanks for watching my video. I love ya. Bye.